Sony has pretty much been running the mirrorless camera game for a long time now, with their APS-C A6000 series and their full-frame A7 series. And specifically when the A7 III came out, it was basically known as the best value camera for photos and for video. It recorded really sharp, really high quality 4K video, as well as really good quality 24 megapixel images. It pretty much did everything really well. You know, it had Sony's new battery that lasted a lot longer, had really good ergonomics while keeping it in a really small form factor, all while keeping it at around the $2,000 price point. This camera is basically the do-it-all camera for a bunch of people. However, as the years went on, a lot of manufacturers and especially customers really wanted higher quality 422 10-bit video to step up their filmmaking game and really be able to color grade and color correct a lot easier without their colors falling apart. And doubling down on that, Sony's color science just wasn't as good as the competitors like Canon especially. And then companies like Panasonic already had that 422 10-bit really good quality video, you know, those really beefy codecs that people like. And so Sony really started losing its edge that it had on the market until, of course, they released the long-awaited a7s III. This camera basically fixed every issue Sony had while keeping all of the great things about other Sony cameras. And because of that, this camera is basically everyone's favorite camera. Every semi-professional filmmaker pretty much has this camera. I mean, it's pretty much the most popular YouTube camera, the most popular higher end DSLR camera for people recording videos. I mean, it's pretty much the new king for video. Now, of course, Canon released their competitors to it, like the Canon R6, and then the Panasonic has the S1H, but really neither of those can compete with the Sony a7s III in terms of hitting everything right on the nose in terms of video. I mean, this thing does 4K up to 120 frames a second, 10-bit 422 video, really beefy codecs. It has arguably some of the best autofocus in any camera, great battery life, amazing ergonomics. Really the only downside to this camera is its $3,500 price point, which is much higher than, you know, something like the previous Sony a7 III that a lot of people used for video, and even a lot more than the a7s II was when that was released. But for the price point, you're basically getting the best mirrorless camera you can get for video. Now, of course, I said mirrorless camera. You know, cinema cameras are just on a whole different league with built-in ND filters, much better, you know, video output ports and just all sorts of ports and dials and buttons. But in terms of mirrorless cameras, the a7s III is basically the best you can get. And that's pretty much the reason everyone loves this camera so much, is it basically took all the problems that Sony had and fixed those while keeping all of the great things about Sony cameras that people loved as well. And just by filling in that gap, it basically created the perfect camera. However, even with all that hype, of course, a camera is still a tool at the end of the day. You use a camera to get a job done, and the a7s III probably isn't the perfect tool for a lot of people. You know, that's where some people might want to move up to a Sony FX6 or even like a Canon C300 Mark III if you need all the different features that a cinema camera gives you. However, the a7s III is also super overkill for a lot of people. Like, for example, if you're starting a YouTube channel, like I'm recording with my Sony a7s III right now, I could get almost this exact looking image with a camera that costs much less than this. Like, I could use a Canon M50, pick one up used for like $350, and I can make this image look almost identical to what you're seeing through an a7s III right now. So pretty much what I'm getting at is, at the end of the day, this is one of the most hyped cameras right now. It's pretty much everyone's favorite camera, but at the end of the day, it's still just a tool that you can use to record video. So that basically wraps this video up. It's kind of different than what I usually do. I just kind of wanted to talk about, you know, the history of the a7s III, why everybody loves it so much. I don't know, I just felt like making this video, so definitely drop a like if you enjoyed this. If you're new to my channel, I pretty much make videos about budget filmmaking gear, you know, lenses, cameras, accessories, stuff like that. So definitely hit the subscribe button if you're interested in that, and check out some of my other videos. But besides that, that basically wraps this video up. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.